Hey, what's up guys? It's Marf and welcome back to another Asphalt 9 video. Today we are going to be reviewing the Tomato or the Tomaso P72. Now I love this car. I think it looks great. I love the name. Thank you to that commenter who commented on a previous video saying the Tomato and I think bold or something. That cracked me up. So that's definitely the title of this video. But before we get into the specs and my review, I just want to mention if you want to keep up with all of my shenanigans and want to see some cool car photography, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and of course you can join the Discord where I hang out with you guys. The links to all of that will be in the description down below. I also want to mention that these car review videos don't seem to get as many views as some of my other videos. So I'm wondering if you guys would like to tell me what you think of these car review videos. Is there something more I could be doing, or do you want me to focus on different kinds of videos? Of course, I like doing these videos because they're easy to make, but also important for the Asphalt 9 community. So yeah, just let me know what you guys think overall of these videos. Anyway, let's talk about the Tomato. And just like with the Apollo that I reviewed previously, I want to start with the looks because this is one of the sleekest, cleanest, most elegant car designs I have seen in a very long time. I know it's an homage to some of the older cars of the past, like of the 60s, and I think they did an amazing job with the curves and the overall profile of this car. I think it looks amazing, especially from that rear view camera that you play with in Asphalt 9. It looks so sleek and amazing. So if anything, you want to get this car based off the looks, that's totally justifiable. That center exhaust pipe looks so nice at the back of the glass where it tapers off. I could just go on and on about the design of this car, but let's talk about how it actually performs in Asphalt 9. Now, for this test, I was playing in the current 5th anniversary season, which has a lot of cars, and you'll see in this video, tons of them are over-ranked compared to my cars. So I'll be going up against a lot of Bugatti Cento Dieccis and SSC Tuataras. So you'll get to see how this car stacks up compared to those, even though this is a high-end A-class car, where those are obviously very good S-class cars. So this is currently the highest ranked A-class car, and I don't know if it necessarily deserves that rank. Don't get me wrong, this car is very fun to drive. The specs are very good for an A-class car. Everything is above or it meets the average of what you'd expect for an A-class car. However, when you combine all of it, you don't get something that exceeds expectations. Talking about cars that exceed expectation, we can take a look at the Jaguar XJR9, one of the other crazy A-class cars that has a crazy top speed compared to the rest of A-class. You could talk about other cars that have insane handling or nitro like the Vanda, but this car doesn't really have any of those. It just has a very well-rounded lineup of specs, which is great. If you don't have any other A-class car that's good and you meet the requirements for the special event, I definitely recommend going for this car because you're going to be very happy with the overall performance. The only big complaint that I would have is that the drifting doesn't have as tight of a radius as I would have hoped, just because again, this car doesn't have insane top speed or insane nitro efficiency or insane acceleration. While the handling stat is good and you drift pretty quickly, you don't drift at a very sharp angle. So I would like to see that be an improvement compared to some of the other A-class cars because there's nothing that really stands out like I mentioned. But again, as you're seeing right now, even though I'm going up against Cento Dieccis and Tuataras, I'm definitely holding my own, and in some of these races I come first place by a pretty wide margin. Now, I wasn't in the highest rank, I'll give you guys that, but I was in, I believe, Pro or Elite League during these videos, I think Pro League, and I'm on iOS, so there's a pretty big player base to come up against, and I was playing against some pretty decent players, especially who were using the Tuatara, and like I said, I was surprised with how well this car held up against those other cars. I do want to touch on that special event that I mentioned previously for just a little bit because that is a big issue I have. I was definitely planning on trying to go for this car when it was announced because again, just look at this thing. It looks so elegant and amazing. But when I realized that you needed things like the Wyra R, and I believe you also need the Cento Diecci, both of which you can get right now because they are running packs for it for the 5th anniversary. The problem is it would cost so many tokens to get those cars as well that by the time I've dumped my tokens into those cars, I don't really know how many tokens I'll have left for this car, and I don't even know if I'm willing to commit to maxing those cars if I do need them for the event. So besides the small gripe about the handling being decent, I would definitely say it's above average for A-class, but it's not anything crazy like the Vanda But the only other complaint, like I said, is just the fact that the special event is very difficult. You only need, I think, 200 conditions to unlock the key packs. So if you have some of the cars that are in the event, you might grind it out and find that you can unlock the packs. I'm going to try and go through the event and see how far I can get, because I do have some of the cars. For example, I have the F1LM at a pretty decent star count. So I'll just see if I can even get to the packs. I'll open a couple of key packs if I get there, but more than likely I won't. Overall, like I mentioned, if you don't have other A-class kings and you meet the requirements, or at least maybe you can get the key packs, I would give it a shot, because this car is extremely well-rounded. It does great on top speed tracks because it won't fall too far behind the top speed kings. It also will do great on twisty tracks, even though I had that small complaint about handling. It is certainly above average compared to most A-class cars, so you'll be fine on maps like the Caribbean. You just need to play decently well, I would say. So yeah, this car is very well rounded. It'll do well on pretty much all tracks. If you want more in-depth and very amazing comparisons, I would recommend checking out some of the other YouTubers, because they are pros. They'll do the side-by-side lap comparisons and whatnot. So the comparisons that I'm talking about are mainly based off of feel and on the paper specs, and I had a really great time driving this car just based on the feel. I didn't really have to worry about any stat that lacked so far behind everything else that I had to compensate for it, and that's definitely a nice thing when driving in Asphalt 9. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts on the Tomato in the comment section down below. Subscribe for more Asphalt 9 content, and I will see you guys later.